Well, good morning. It is April 24th. Welcome to the Forgotten Coast Lighthouse Challenge. There's several of us that will be visiting all of them over the next couple of days, and we're looking forward to that. It is 10 o'clock. Time to start, and the first one we're going to climb is the one right here behind me. This is Crooked River. And look over here at this brand new museum in the shape of a keeper's cottage that the people here in Carabel have built. So this is going to be an exciting weekend, isn't it?
It is going to be fantastic.
Because you've got stuff going on in town, yes, too, so you're kind of tacked into that.
Yes, we do. We had the original plans. If you look at the archival pictures we have, it's amazing how close it is to what the original looked like on the outside. We have just completed a display that replicates the kind of box that used to be sent to lighthouse keepers with book collections. And this was the Lighthouse Keepers Library. And we're going to have Miss Florida dedicate that for us. That was just installed yesterday. And the big thing we're hoping for, and it looks like we have a chance to get it, is to get our original Fresnel lens back from the Coast Guard. And then that would be on display in the back.
All right, so we're ready to climb 138 steps to the top. So, see you at the top. All right, here we are at the top. Oh, it's a beautiful day. They're saying it might rain later today. There's the replica of the keeper's quarters, faithfully restored. This is a replica of the original lens. It's a 4th order lens. It has 2 bullseyes 90 degrees apart. One of the things that Dee Dee always does is she takes pictures of her feet on the top step, I guess to prove that she's been here. All right, 1 lighthouse down, 3 to go. We're on the road again.
Okay, here we go. Woo, Cape San Blas.
Here's our second light of the day. We're at Cape San Blas. So the last time I was here, the Sleeping Beauty had been rescued but was still under construction. And then the second keeper's quarters, which the Air Force had at the time and they were using, and they weren't going to give it up for anything. And now both of these are open. The first time that I met you, you brought us out here. There was about a half dozen of us, and the lighthouse was a rusty mess. And one keeper's quarters was closed because the Air Force was using it for fun. And Sleeping Beauty was a shambles in the corner. And look at what you've done. Y'all have done an awesome job. Thank you.
It has been our pleasure to work with everyone because Florida Lighthouse Association has certainly been a tremendous help. They wrote letters when we needed them, grants of support. Everyone has been so encouraging, and we have been very, very fortunate.
How's the day going for you?
It's been busy. It's been busy, but now I'm getting to breathe.
But you've had good numbers today.
Oh gosh, yes. Real good numbers.
And all ages too.
All ages, even grandparents are climbing today.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Well, I love it. I'm addicted to it.
What did you just do? You climbed the lighthouse?
How many steps do you remember? And 31.
All right, here we go. 131 steps on this lighthouse, our second lighthouse of the day, Cape San Blas. Let's climb. This is the original clamshell lens. Beautiful, beautiful lens. All right, here we are. Beautiful Cape San Blas. Look at the Gulf. Gulf's churning up today. A lot of wind. Very sad beach erosion. Looks like they're having a fabulous day. People up here taking photographs. A little hazy. Here's Dee Dee taking pictures of her feet on the edge, looking down in this case. And here it is. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you start at 10 o'clock hitting the first lighthouse, and you're about to get your 4th stamp of the day.
That's right. Well, we were there when they opened this morning.
And how's it been?
It's been great.
We've decided to do 5 lighthouses on this challenge instead of 4. And this is Danny Raffield's house, which is the old St. Joseph Lighthouse that he purchased and he lives in, and he's moved it to this location and he's restored. But always remember that Danny's house is private property, and whatever you do, please don't go knock on the door. All right, so we climbed 2 lighthouses.
Yep.
And we took a detour and saw kind of our bonus lighthouse that we put together.
Yep.
And then we did what everyone does when they come to the seafood capital of the world. For lunch, we had
Mexican!
Because there's
Peppers.
At Peppers, which is a great Mexican restaurant in downtown Port St. Joe that we discovered another time when we were here. So we've just enjoyed that. Now, let's go climb a lighthouse.
St. George, here we come!
St. George, here we come. You know, it was just 4.5 years ago, almost 4.5 years ago to this month, that this lighthouse fell into the Gulf of Mexico, and now this incredible group of volunteers, and a lot of you were part of this group, salvaged that lighthouse and have re-erected it here on St. George Island. Yeah, I got lots of people climbing the lighthouse today, lots of people milling around, but look at this. This is the latest project for this group, and that is they have built a replica of the keeper's quarters, made it out of brick, and has faithfully recreated it the way the lighthouse keeper's houses would have been. There's 92 steps. They are all wood steps. We know that the steps were made in Dennis's garage. Here we are on top of St. George Lighthouse, and you can see a lot of wind, a lot of waves, a lot of people on the beach in spite of it. This is their lens. This is a Vega LED lens. Doesn't have a light bulb, it has LEDs instead. It has a range of 13 miles. All right, so here's Dee Dee. She's going to take a still picture of her feet at the top of the lighthouse to prove that she was here. And what's better than ending the day than with a low country boil? Look at these shrimp. And if you're not a seafood person, they served chicken wings and rice and beans and coleslaw, and look at all the people.
Today I climbed St. Mark's, Crooked River, and St. George. Tomorrow I'll do Cape San Blas, Port St. Joe, and Pensacola.
Port St. Joe.
I got special permission.
There's like maybe 10 people in the history of the world that have climbed Port St. Joe.
It's amazing what this sash will do. This sash gets me to the top of all the lighthouses that other people might be locked out of, and it gets me to private property. I don't know how it does it.
Here we are at St. Mark's. We heard yesterday they actually ran out of bags and other materials here. I don't think they have quite so many people today so far. The weather's been kind of bad in the morning, but it's supposed to maybe clear in the afternoon.
We opened at 10 o'clock and we had a nice long line, and altogether we did $2,000 worth of tickets. We probably saw 400 or 500 people.
We probably had another 300 or 400 people, just local people that come down to want to look. So we've had a good day yesterday. This morning it started out, the weather was real bad, so it's been slow, but it's been steady all day.
This is Connie, who is here in period costume. She's actually a ranger at Wacala Springs.
The Fine family was a very important family in the succession of lighthouse keepers here. And they started in 1892 when Charles O. Fine was actually the lighthouse keeper in Dry Tortugas. And Mr. Gibson was here. And they were friends, and they wrote letters back and forth and found out that they both hated where they were. And so they traded. And so the Fine family arrived here. Charles O. and Sarah J. Her maiden name was Sweeting. And so they had 7 children, and they lived here.
As you can see, Dee Dee and Beverly are already here.
Hey.
And there's Ken. He's up there. He's our lighthouse keeper. And we're going to walk up and just kind of, that's as far as we can go in this lighthouse this trip. We get a chance to look out the window, though. Ken is a ranger at Wacala as well, among other things, and has volunteered here or is working here this weekend for the Lighthouse Challenge. And he is dressed in a lighthouse keeper's attire, similar to the way Andy was, but he's got the blue one on. How's the Lighthouse Challenge been for you, Ken?
It's a fascinating thing to see people come into a landmark that they've seen from the outside for so long. Particularly local people who view St. Mark's Lighthouse as part of their heritage, but have never been inside.
Here at St. Mark's, you're able to stand on this little bit of a point and look back across the water and see the lighthouse on the top of the light. Thanks to the dozens of volunteers and the hundreds and hundreds of hours that have been given to make this Lighthouse Challenge, the Forgotten Coast Lighthouse Challenge, a reality. Congratulations to all of you, too, on what has to be an incredibly successful event. Looking forward to the next one.